Thanks a lot, Josh. After an investigation, the Office of Special Counsel determined that the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Julian Castro, violated the Hatch Act, which prohibits federal employees from using their official authority or influence to affect the outcome of the election. I read the statement that your office put out as it relates to this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like there's going to be any punishment for Secretary Castro for violating the Hatch Act. Did I read that correctly?
Well, John, I think I saw the statement from Secretary Castro, who acknowledged the inadvertent error, and he indicated that he would participate in some additional training and get an additional briefing to make sure that when he's doing interviews in the future, that he's understands what the Hatch Act requires. So look, I think to his credit, Secretary Castro acknowledged the mistake that he made. He owned up to it, and he's taken the necessary steps to prevent it from happening again. I think that's I think the expectation that people have when you make a mistake, particularly in a situation like this.
As you know, Secretary Castro is a very intelligent person. He went to Stanford, Harvard Law School, and in the report that the Office of Special Counsel put out, they write, since beginning his appointment in July 2014, Secretary Castro has received 4 briefings on the Hatch Act, including one in February 2016. HUD ethics officials advised him that when speaking in his official capacity as Secretary, his appearance must remain official and not become political. An ethics official, the report continues, testified that they specifically advised Secretary Castro how to handle political questions when he is speaking in his official capacity by stating that he is not there to talk politics. And so my question is, how does Secretary Castro make a mistake like this? And how is it that an official in his capacity is not, it seems to me, punished in any way for violating a federal law, the Hatch Act?
Well, listen, John, I think one thing it does do is it exposes the hazards of bluntly answering questions that are posed by journalists, a hazard that I'm intimately familiar with. So look, I again, Secretary Castro, I think, was pretty blunt in his letter about acknowledging that he'd made a mistake and taking the kinds of steps to ensure that that mistake wouldn't be repeated. I'm quite confident that when he reads the transcript of the exchange that you and I are having, that it will feel like a punishment.
It seems to be a pattern, though, because former Secretary of HHS, Kathleen Sebelius, also was found to have violated the Hatch Act. Do you see this as a pattern in the Obama administration where administration officials, very senior level administration officials, are violating the federal law that exists in this regard?
No, I don't think it's a pattern at all. I'm not aware of the details of the Secretary Sebelius' case that you're referencing.
And one final question. Do you think it should be disqualifying for an individual to be put on a presidential ticket if they violated federal law?
Look, I'm going to leave it to both candidates. Obviously, one candidate has already decided about who he believes should serve with him on the ticket. And so, as it relates to the decision that Secretary Clinton still has to make about who should be added to her ticket, she's getting plenty of advice from people, and I'll let her make that decision. Okay? Paul.